Hey friends, welcome back to 3D Cartoon Review. Today we return to Renegade Immortal EP121, where Red Thunder wears a crown, ancestors crawl up from stone to laugh at heaven, and one man answers the sky with a single, unblinking word. Pull your chair closer. Breathe once. We begin. The golden armored officer was still screaming when the black stroke fell. It sliced the air with a judge's finality, took his left arm at the shoulder, and left his face the color of snow that has forgotten the sun. He staggered, clutched the spurting stump, and met Wang Lin's eyes. Wang Lin did not offer comfort or accusation. He lifted one hand, seized the officer by the collarbones, and threw him into the ancient war drum. The sound was a falling mountain. Drumhide boomed, bones burst like rotten fruit, blood painted the old leather in a brief sticky hymn. In the next heartbeat the body powdered, the dust spiraled once as if surprised, and then was gone. Far across the field, a spirit boat drifted above the streets. Yao Di, all youth in the face and winters in the eyes, closed his folding fan. "So," he murmured, as if narrating an experiment, "that is how he dies." Demon generals along the square forgot their pride and their wagers. The air tasted of iron, the crowd's breath made a low animal sound. Overhead, lightning cross stitched the clouds. When the 15th beat finished ringing, it left a bruise on the sky. Everyone felt it an ache that had the shape of grief. Wang Lin tipped his head back, gazed into the swollen red overcast, and spoke quietly, as if to himself. "I kept it," he said. "Heaven's Dao remains Heaven's Dao. No more, no less." The words did not chase applause. They simply hung there, a promise to himself that the air happened to overhear. Far away on Tianyun's star, Tianyunzi opened his eyes and tasted the edge of calamity. Thunder falls. Heaven's awe stirs. Fate blurs, he said to no one, and the cave nodded like a servant. On the eastern sea, Lang Tianhao frowned at the horizon. Tribulation over the east? Has Tanlang met disaster? And in another darkness, Xue Zhu, the blood ancestor, watched crimson gather in the clouds, as if wine had learned to fly. "Tribulation descends," he murmured. "I wonder how that boy Ji Shui fares today." On the spirit boat, Yao Di snapped his fan shut. He is a cultivator, he decided, and the sky brightened its knives as if to disagree. Wang Lin drew a breath that sounded like a decision. "Heaven cannot break my Dao heart. It can punish me, it can erase me. But fear?" He almost smiled. "I have survived 700 years and 1,000 storms. Am I afraid?" Red Thunder answered with a verdict. It dived like a river made of iron and hatred. Wang Lin's right hand flicked, and 3,700 life imprints swarmed from his meridians, knitting into a gray carapace that armored flesh and soul. The forbidden banner in his grip thrummed like a held storm. He snapped it forward. A black tornado uncoiled and leapt, chewing at the descending bolt with abyssal teeth. Impact erased breath. The world inverted in a white roar. When the thunder's laugh faded, the black wind had been shredded to silk, seals unraveled, and the remnants of the tornado collapsed into nothing the way courage sometimes does when no one watches. Wang Lin's eyes went winter bright. "If heaven would destroy me," he shouted, and the shout had the weight of a vow, "then I will destroy heaven." His hand rose. Extinction Finger, not one, but 100 flared out like a constellation of pale meteors, stabbed into the falling judgment, and detonated a new conversation. Stone lifted and went elsewhere. Buildings forgot their geometry. Dust turned to rivers and fled. Through it all, Wang Lin's barrage still lived, a razor-thin scaffolding holding up a moment that wanted to fall. "Break this body, and my Dao heart remains," he said. The 3,700 sigils brightened, curled, and flew as gray dragons, weaving through the swarm of extinction fingers, nodding strike to strike until Thunder had to push 2 doors at once. Red lightning found a new smile. It burned through dragons, erased fingers, and folded gray light into ash that tasted of old calendars. It kept coming. Wang Lin did not step back. His pupils narrowed to needles, and a different seal flowered at his fingertips. Demon transforming finger rose with horns and memory. When it met the crimson, the sky tore sideways. The city swayed like a drunk remembering decorum. Towers slumped, and remembered they were only stone. The ground cracked a long, careful no. On a high platform, the heavenly marshal did not sigh. He flicked his sleeve. A jade bottle flew in a clean arc toward Wang Lin, gift and warning. Then the marshal turned away as if the outcome had ceased to concern him. The red thunderhead faltered. It thinned, tore, and then vanished like an insult that had remembered its manners. Wang Lin swayed, color gone from his mouth. He caught the bottle in his left hand, and the hand shook once like a reed in river wind. He pulled the stopper and paused. Above, the cloud returned, heavier and darker, drawn back by the law that says debts must be collected where they were made. Yao Di's fan snapped open. He flashed down, intent on hauling Wang Lin from the city to bleed elsewhere. He made it halfway before the air locked, hard as glass. Heaven had taken aim. Movement would only move the disaster with the man. Yao Di slowed, eyes narrowing, and then did something only emperors attempt. His body blurred. 2, 4, 8. 8 Yao Di streaked to the 8 directions like commandment made visible, shouting orders, tearing doors, lifting children, carrying mothers, ripping whole households out of their lives and hurling them toward safety. When the last roof emptied, the sky changed, not louder but heavier. Yao Di hovered, looked up, and said softly, "Heaven's might." His gaze flicked toward the buried bones beneath the city. Will the old ones wake? On the ruined plaza, Wang Lin stood alone, a single nail holding up a falling house. Heaven's might had not fully dropped, yet its pressure had already cracked lintels and humbled columns. Even Wang Lin felt bones grind toward chalk. He did not kneel. He bared his teeth at the red and said very clearly, "I will not submit." The ground answered with laughter and swearing. Dirt burst, stone flew, and 5 ancient auras speared into the air like old spears remembering war. White-haired elders rose, hung 10 zhang below the bleeding vault, and whooped as if they had just escaped chores. "Comfortable," one shouted, rolling his shoulders, and the cloud uncurled a giant red hand and slapped them from the sky. They hammered into the streets, crawled out of their personalized craters, and shook fists at heaven. "We're the descendants of Gu Yao," one yelled. "We slipped your leash ages ago, don't act up." They launched again in a roar of demonic power, draping the city in fireless smoke and antique arrogance. Heaven's might found a second hand and pressed. This one chose Wang Lin. The weight hit like a continent. Blood jumped from his mouth, the plaza folded around him. He drove a pit 3 men deep with his back and did not break. Above, the 5 elders splashed into 5 new craters and came up laughing. One, furious and delighted, punched the sky and promised to fight until nothing remained of anybody who asked for this weather. The cloud obliged and slapped them back down. Wang Lin lay face down. Strength bled. The light in his eyes went from knife to stone. A voice arrived in the quiet between heartbeats, not in the ear, but with the intimacy of a thought one has been waiting to think. When a reverse cultivator appears, the voice said, "Heaven cannot ignore him." It did not preach, it recited a rule. Heaven does not fear a hider. If the heart intends to hide, that one is not reversing. You are not the first, you will not be the last. Wang Lin did not move his lips. "Are you Gu Yao?" he asked, and felt the earth nod. "I am Gu Yao," the voice said, patient as bedrock. "I did not come to philosophize." "Then speak business," Wang Lin thought. Breath scraped his ribs like claws. He could taste copper. "What do you want?" "I can repair your body," Gu Yao said. "I can help you pass today's tribulation. I can grant authority within heavenly Demon County." The pause was kind. "In exchange, retrieve the sacred artifacts of the other 8 counties." "Many reverse cultivators walk these lands," Wang Lin said. "Why me?" "You are not the first to reverse," Gu Yao replied. "But you are the first mortal to cultivate ancient god. Your ancient god aura is faint and pure. That is why I choose you." "Then repair this body," Wang Lin said, and the thought was a blade resting on a throat, "and give me strength to fight heaven." "As you wish." Power poured dark daylight, thick and cold. A demonic mist rose behind Wang Lin's eyes like dawn lit by coals. He stood, though moments before he had been a ruin. His clothes had not survived the argument. His skin sang with a hymn no sect had taught. Behind him, the phantom rose, ancient demon, horned and vast, sharing Wang Lin's center and posture like a shadow that had learned to be a mountain. The 5 elders stared. One whispered, "Our forebear's aura. Has the ancestor finally looked our way?" Heaven descended again. Wang Lin did not bend. Neither did the horned shadow. They opened their eyes together. The man lifted his palm toward the cloud. The phantom lifted a hand that could pat a city into legend, their voices braided, human and ancient, a harmony that made the square's dust tremble. Extinguish the Dao. It was not a shout. It was a decision. Black radiance burst upward, a pillar like midnight learning to roar, and slammed into heaven's mouth with the borrowed politeness of old vengeance finally allowed to stand. The capital rang like a gong. Yao Di's 8 avatars hung at the edges, counting the rescued and measuring salvation against ruin. Above, the red hesitated. The 5 elders in their craters grinned like boys, then whooped at the sound the world had just made. Now that, one said, dust in his beard, is music. Wang Lin stood at the axis of the broken square. The horned phantom mirrored him without mercy. He did not smile, he did not rage. He existed with a steadiness that made heaven think about blinking. Red light thickened, flowed over the black like a hand over a stone, seeking purchase that refused to exist. Thunderheads buckled, then steadied, then buckled again like parchment discovering claws in the ink. Heaven pushed. The palm pushed back, the kind of hand that remembers empires dying, deserts being born, and calendars learning to count because blood taught them which days mattered. Energy avalanched. It settled. For a long breath there was no noise, only dust deciding which way to fall. Then sound returned slowly at first, like a wounded thing testing its legs. Across a broken avenue, the heavenly marshal paused, unreadable. A path had been offered to a man, a price as well. The marshal turned away and let history choose its handwriting. Wang Lin lowered his hand, so did the phantom. Claw marks scarred the cloud bank, raw and ragged, refusing to heal the way dignity refuses to accept a bruise. Knees touched stone around the square as people decided what to worship, loud sky or quiet man. Somewhere, a child cried. Somewhere, an elder laughed. On the spirit boat, Yao Di folded his fan and began calculating again. Wang Lin exhaled, not theatrics, simply breath. He lifted his eyes and invited the sky to invent another punishment. Behind him, the ancient demon phantom dimmed, but it did not depart. It lingered like a signature refusing to dry. The 5 elders floated closer, beards lifted in a wind made of awe. You, one said softly, might be the knot our tapestry has been waiting for. Far away, sect lords raised their heads from charts of stars and wrote notes their students would not understand quickly, about drums that translate and men who teach heaven where to look. A thin rain began. It washed the dust into lines that resembled future roads. Wang Lin stood where the lines crossed and did nothing until decision mattered. He glanced once at the ancient drum, once at the hemorrhaging sky, once into himself, and let a very small smile touch the corner of his mouth. New hinge, new door. Next, he said, the word weighed more than thunder. The elders heard it, the emperor heard it, the sky pretended not to. The horned shadow breathed with him, once, twice, then faded like a god returning to a patient grave. What remained was a man and a Dao that would not change its name to please anybody. The world resumed, but differently. In the rubble, a left arm remembered its owner. The drum remembered the body it had eaten clean. Gossip discovered new bones to gnaw. Wang Lin stepped forward through the wreckage that would later become stories. He did not hurry. He did not bow, he did not ask permission from weather. Behind him, 5 elders argued about wine with the intensity of saints. Ahead, heaven considered whether to try again. Beside him, no one, because some roads must be auditioned alone. He walked. The Demon Imperial Capital exhaled. Alive. Thunder went elsewhere to scold a different star. History sharpened its pen. And the chapter held in that thin, bright place where a man's answer to heaven extinguished the Dao still rang like a blade tapped once on stone. If that storm gripped you, the old monster's heckling thunder, the horned shadow lifting its hand, the sky pausing to think, tap like, subscribe, and ring the bell so the next clash finds you first. In the following episode, the cost of borrowed might, the politics of gratitude, and the hand that dares collect a debt from Wang Lin. Meet me back here, we'll listen for the next beat together.